Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 5.
We begin with breaking news as the Cass County Sheriff's Department, along with the Cass County State's Attorney, just announced they will not pursue charges against William Dittmer Jr., the man who shot and killed another man in Castleton last Friday. Valley News Team's crime and safety reporter, Bailey Hurley, is live in Fargo with the latest. Bailey.
Yeah, Andrew, we're kind of just now learning some of the details that unfolded last Friday in Castleton. Now, the Cass County Sheriff's Office says that William Dittmer was actually the one who called 911 after he shot and killed Dwayne Turchin. They say that Dittmer says that he feared for his life as Dwayne Turchin is much larger in size than him. He was actually on his property, and Dittmer says at one point Dwayne Turchin even had him by the throat. Dittmer says at that point he grabbed a gun from his person and shot Dwayne Turchin. He says he then went back into his home, called 911, secured his weapon, and then waited on the line with dispatchers until deputies arrived. Now, the state's attorney's office says that William Dittmer's statement was corroborated with other witnesses' statements, as well as other evidence that was collected at the scene. And they say at this time, William Dittmer is not going to be formally charged with murder. However, both the state's attorney's office and the sheriff's office says this does not mean that the investigation is over. They say other charges could come from this case later, but as for right now, Dittmer is going to be walking a free man. We were just told by the Cass County Jail that Dittmer is free. He is out. That's kind of all we know right now. We'll continue to keep you updated here. For now, reporting live in North Fargo, Bailey Hurley, Valley News Live.
All right. Thank you, Bailey.
Go home, lock yourself up. I don't care, but stay out of our neighborhood.
Police say 2 men have been arrested in a North Fargo shooting incident that has rocked a community. Detectives recovered weapons at the scene, and residents say they want answers as to what happened. Valley News Team's Joshua Pagero has more on a shooting that happened at a supermarket parking lot.
Morning, Fargo police placed crime scene tape around this Hornbachers along North Broadway, shutting down streets and redirecting traffic. Officers first responded to reports of multiple shots fired at the parking lot. Police later found the body near a car that had crashed a few feet away from the Hornbachers.
Copy. The shooting victim is laying in the street.
Fargo police say 1 man died and the other was rushed to Sanford Hospital in critical care.
I want to remind people that we do our best every single day to make sure that we respond as quickly as possible.
Scanner Traffic sheds light on the suspects as a witness told us he reported to police seeing 2 men with guns leaving the scene on foot.
Right, there were 2 responsibles that was on foot eastbound. One was a black male with red, light blue jacket.
Some of the neighbors we spoke to were shaken up by the shooting, which happened minutes after the Hornbachers opened.
I don't know if it was them hitting the curb or if it was hitting a sign, but it was loud because it woke me up.
Stacy Zeller says this shouldn't be happening in her community.
This isn't normal. It's a quiet neighborhood. North Fargo is an old community with a lot of young families that are coming in with young kids. So that's...
Katie Moore says she slept through the whole thing and was unnerved seeing the cop cars.
Shocking. I was very upset and very crying. Very just really want some answers.
She says things like this make her worry for her 11-month-old daughter. In Fargo, Joshua Pagero, Valley News Live.
Fargo police arrested 28-year-old Daryl Simmons and 21-year-old Rang Yang in connection with the crime. The state of North Dakota is now confirming 53 new cases of COVID-19 and 2 more deaths today. They mark the 37th and 38th deaths linked to the virus in the state. 25 of those deaths are from COVID-19. 4 are people who died with the virus, and 9 are still pending death records. The state says over 47,000 people have now been tested in North Dakota. At this time, 38 people are now in the hospital. There are now over 1,500 total cases in North Dakota, while 877 patients have recovered. In Minnesota, health officials are reporting that the death toll is now over 600, with the total amount of cases surpassing 12,000. The exact death toll is 614. 501 of them lived in a nursing home or long-term care facility. 12,494 cases have been reported, but a little over 8,200 are listed as recovered. Let's soak up as much sunshine as we can today. It sounds like we'll be seeing some changing weather tomorrow. Here's Hutch with a look at your first alert forecast. Hi, Hutch.
Hey, right out of the frying pan and into the fire we go. Hey, take a look at these morning temperatures in the low 20s, teens for some. Grand Forks tying a record low. Valley City, it says 52. We must have had some sensor problems there. This file grabs the lowest temperature seen from that location over the last, since morning. Here is a look at Grand Forks from our home of economy cam. Some high clouds moving in. We're going to see changes in the skies over the area as a little weak storm works its way through. And as it does, we'll have a chance of some rain showers that are now pushing into the Napoleon area and won't be far from places like Cullum and the Lemoore County area. Your Fargo planner shows temperatures pretty fair this evening. Get done what you need to get done. Not a bad night to lay some fertilizer on the grass because the rain coming tomorrow will green things up. More on that in a few moments. But for tonight in Grand Forks, not nearly as cold. We will not have low 20s and teens for overnight temperatures, but rain and wind and some grumpy weather overall. Details in hour-by-hour style in a few moments.
We don't want that grumpy weather, right?
No.
No. Thanks, Hutch. The search continues for a man who led 3 different agencies on a chase through parts of the metro. Around 10:40 last night, troopers tried to stop a suspicious white pickup, but it took off, heading into West Fargo and then in and out of the metro. Authorities eventually deflated the vehicle tires, but the driver ditched the vehicle and ran. Authorities say they know who the driver is and there is no danger to the public. North Dakota Game and Fish are investigating after a moose poaching case that resulted in 2 calves being cut out of a pregnant cow. It happened near Dunseith during the last week of April. Game and Fish say the poaching case involved 3 cows and 2 bulls being shot. A $2,000 reward is being offered for information on this case. We have contact information for the Game and Fish Department on the VNL News app. There are some frustrations tonight about garbage pickup in the valley. The long-standing cleanup week tradition has been postponed due to COVID-19 for Moorhead, Fargo, and West Fargo. Valley News Team's Callie Hubbard tells us why it was pushed back until September.
The pandemic is making garbage crews work harder as people are generating more trash at home.
We average about 1,600 tons of excess garbage, and a lot of that's handled by hand. A lot of it's mattresses, furniture, a lot of items that we just don't know what, it's been in contact with.
Moorhead Public Works says crews are only picking up garbage totes and recycling at the moment.
Probably the biggest hazard is that we have to hire day laborers, which we end up cycling through a considerable number of temporary employees that we don't know their exposure risk. It's not worth putting our city staff at risk by working in close proximity with a lot of temporary staff that we don't know.
The city of Fargo says they fined 20 or so people for leaving trash on the curb. They say the charge fee varies on how much time crews spend at your home. Leaving a mattress or a couch outside could cost you $10. In the FM area, Callie Hubbard, Valley News Live.
Moorhead, Fargo, and West Fargo say you can drop off your trash from June 8th through the 13th, free of charge. To learn more about locations and times, you can download our Valley News Live app. Dr. Anthony Fauci told a Senate committee that at least 8 coronavirus vaccine candidates are in development, but they're not likely to know any of the successes until late fall at the earliest. Fauci testified remotely before a Senate panel and then summarized the vaccine research effort underway. A crash research program has resulted in early clinical trials, but the nation's top infectious disease doctor told senators that the world would hope to know of any successes by late fall or early winter.
On the 14th of January, we officially started the vaccine development. 62 days later, we are now in phase 1 clinical trial with the 2 doses already fully enrolled. There will be animal safety. The phase 1 will directly go into phase 2-3. In late spring and early summer. And if we are successful, we hope to know that in the late fall and early winter.
Fauci later said it was unrealistic to expect a vaccine to be developed in time for a hoped-for return of students to campuses in the fall. We're getting a look at MGM's new plan to reopen its Las Vegas casinos. MGM is installing a 7-point safety plan for reopening, and that includes rigorous cleaning standards and reconfigured spaces to allow for physical distancing. Hand washing stations and plexiglass barriers are also being installed to protect workers and customers. The plan will be implemented at various casino resorts across the country. The Super Slide amusement park in Bismarck's Sertoma Park will be practicing new coronavirus procedures so that it can open for the season on Thursday at noon. All rides and equipment will be sanitized with each use. 4 attractions will remain closed at the park: the Rock Wall, Bouncy House, the Children's Play Area, and the Water Wars games. All employees have taken COVID-19 safety training. Still ahead tonight, even some of the youngest patients are now relying on telemedicine, how the practice could change the way we interact with doctors in the future.
After morning temperatures in the teens and 20s, the 50s felt awesome. Sunshine, not much wind. Get out and enjoy while you can. We have some unsettled weather heading towards our area on Wednesday. Morning sunrise was beautiful. We'll have details on how things will be much different for your Wednesday right after this.